sunshine I gotta love, and I know that it's all mine.
Hi there, my name is Hillary, and for today's video I'm going to show you some tips on how to model organic forms in Revit. This is a question that I get asked about a lot because Revit tends to push towards more regular shapes, but it's not impossible to create curvy organic forms. So I'm going to show you how to create a curved wall, how to use the sweep and the blend and the swept blend tool, how to use the massing tool, and creating a wall or roof or floor by face of the mass, and then how to import shapes from Rhino and make them workable in Revit. So it might be a bit of a long video, but as with my other videos, you can click the timestamp in my description below to skip to the parts that you want. So we're going to start with creating a curved wall. This is super easy, but for some reason, some people don't realize that it's how easy it is. So to create a curved wall, you're just going to click the wall tool, and the modify tab pops up on the top, and you can see that there's this square of all of your different tools that you can use. So I prefer to, there's these bunch of different curve tools and the spline tool, but I prefer to use this one. So you can just draw your arc, and you can make tangent forms. That's how you create a curved wall. Next task, how to use the sweep, blend, and swept blend tools. So these tools are available when you're creating families, and they're available for when you're creating a model in place component. So I'm just going to show you in the model in place component, but it's the same for if you were in a family. So your tools that you can use to model are here. So there's the extrusion, which is pretty self-explanatory, blend, revolve, sweep, and swept blend, and then all of those forms are also available in a void form. So the good thing about voids in Revit is you can select what you want the voids to cut. So it doesn't mean that the void cuts everything that is near it, but you can select specific other forms that you want it to cut. So for the blend, I'll just show you how this works. You have a top and a bottom. This is sort of like the loft tool in Rhino. I can edit the top, make it over here, a check mark, finish model, and I can go to the 3D view. So that's how you create a blend. Now we can create a sweep as well. I'm just going to go back into this model in place model component. And I'm going to say create, and this time I'm going to create a sweep. So I'm going to draw a path, and then I'm going to draw a profile. That's how sweep works. And you can sketch by path, which is going to be all on one plane. So you can, I can pick these edges if I want. And now I have to click edit profile in order to draw a profile. And one handy trick is when you're working on kind of curves and things like that, in order to look perfectly squarely at your face that you're drawing on, you can right click on this box in the corner and click orient to plane. And then don't touch anything here, just click OK. And now you're looking square at that plane, I guess. So and now I have a sweep along this curve. So when I'm drawing a sweep, I'm creating it on a work plane. So in this case, I didn't change the work plane. So the path was level 0. But if I want it to go, let's say, on an angle or something, I can open, let's say, an elevation. And I'm going to create a reference plane that goes on this angle. And now I'm going to go to create. And I'm going to write sweep. And I'm going to say set. Pick a plane. Okay. And now I'm going to click that reference plane. And I'm going to go to 3D. And now when I'm drawing on that angle. So I'm just going to click the green check mark. And then I'm going to, again, click Edit Profile. This drop-down menu is for if you have like a CAD or a profile that's already saved, which you probably won't for a studio project, but you might if you're working in for work. I'm going to click Edit Profile, and I can draw another something here. And so now that is on an angle. So with all these forms, I can always create a void as well. So for example, I can look like this and create. So I prefer to create a solid and then turn it into a void instead of using the void tools, because sometimes they assume they know what you want to cut and they're wrong. So change this, make a solid, change it to be a void. And now it's going to be orange because it's not cutting anything yet, because I haven't told it to cut anything. I'm going to use the cut tool, and I'm going to cut this. So that's a kind of funny shape now. So I can also create a sweep on a path by picking a path. So in this case, the sweep is not limited to a reference plane, which is flat. So you can get like a double curve if you do it this way. So if I go like this. So now I have this circle that is following this kind of crazy looking curve. And this is the case, again, most of these techniques are applied to when you're modeling families as well, but I can click this and I can make it invisible. So now it won't show up. So now when I click Finish Model, you don't see that. I just use that in order to pick the path that I wanted. And so now that this guy is all that's there. I'll just go back into here and show you a couple more tools. The Revolve tool is pretty simple. You can just, this is really helpful when you're modeling, let's say a railing, or you can model something that looks like a chess piece. Or vase, if you want to make a vase. Oh, so you draw the shape that you want to reflect all around, and then you draw the axis line. So I'm going to draw that here, and then you just click the check mark, and now you have that. Lastly, I will show you the Swept Blend tool, which is a little bit weird to use. So it's the most similar to the Loft tool in Rhino. So I can sketch a path. For example, this, and then I can see it in 3D if you want. So this is, the path is actually on level 0 right now. And then I have the two profiles that I want to use. So I can say edit profile 1, edit profile, and I can draw something. Okay. And then I can edit profile 2, edit profile. And this is where it's kind of odd. You don't have to keep your second, or you don't have to keep these profiles at this axis. So you can actually move it, let's say up here. And now if I click the check mark, so it's going to perfectly follow this curve and plan, and it's going to cut straight where the path ends. So it looks like that. So now I can even, let's say, mirror this a couple times. I can use this mirror tool. Nope, got to be in an elevation. Some of those tools don't let you use them when you're in a 3D view. So I can, let's say, mirror this in this view. Use this mirror tool. Like this. Move it down so it lines up perfectly. And the snaps are awesome in here. So now I've got this kind of funny curve going on. I can join these pieces. So yeah, that's just an introduction to all of those tools, just so you know, I guess, how they work and how they can help you create organic or weird forms that aren't just straight orthogonal lines. So for the next tool, I'm going to show you how to use the massing tool. So one thing that you have to know and understand for massing is how reference planes work. And this is really important as well for families, and it just becomes more important. But so reference planes, you can see in the architecture tab right here, reference plane. They appear as dotted lines in your drawings, like this. And they're basically planes that go on forever. So if I were to create a section looking through here, I can see that plane there. So it shows up in a section and a plan because it goes on for eternity. So reference planes are really helpful because in a family, you can align and lock dimensions and model elements to them, and that's how you create parameters. When creating massing, it's also really important because you're basically going to create, let's say, a curve on each of these reference planes. So I'm going to throw some reference planes in. Let's do 3. I'm just going to rotate this section so that we have a view looking perfectly at the reference plane. So in order to create a mass, I could either use this massing tab, or I can say model in place and then click mass. And the massing is automatically turned off in all of your views. That's fine. Okay. And I'm just going to quickly type VV and make sure massing is turned on. There we go. So I'm going to start by saying set, pick a plane, and I'm going to pick this plane. And now it should prompt me, because it knows that I'm not going to be able to draw anything on that reference plane when I'm in this plan view because it's perpendicular. So I'm going to go to my section view, open view, and I'm just going to draw a curve. And I just need to turn on the mass in this view as well. So I'm going to just draw a curve. And this box here is my crop region for my section. So I'm just going to stay within there. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to here. Oh, and so now you can see that those lines in 3D. Cool. So now I'm going to go back to my level 0, set, pick a plane, go to here, and now I can draw something else. Let's see. And again. Okay, so this shape, if I look in 3D now, this is what it looks like. So I just have lines. When you're creating a mass, you're basically just have lines to work with. And then if I select these lines, I'm holding control to select them all. Then you have this create form option pop up. So I'm going to click create form, and it's going to be solid by default. So now I have this form that kind of undulates like that. Now if I click finish mass, that is my mass. So masses are kind of odd because I guess Revit knows that you only use these masses as like a temporary thing. So it's going to show up as this like clear texture, and it's going to be scheduled as a mass, which doesn't really matter for Studio, but it's kind of inconvenient because it's not going to default show up in all your views. So we can now use this mass to create a floor, a wall, a roof. Yeah, so we can go to the Massing and Site tab, and we have this model by face. So we're going to say wall by face, floor by face, or roof by face. So let's pretend this was a wall. It doesn't really matter, but you can click wall, and we can do that. And now that's a wall. And the great thing about this is that this would schedule as a wall, which is nice to be organized. But such things as doors and windows in Revit know that they can only be placed on a wall. So now that this is scheduled as a wall, you can actually place your windows and doors and things like that on here. This might be ridiculous. So yeah, you can place your elements on there. And it's the exact same thing if you want to place a roof or a floor on that face as well. Don't know why you would ever want a floor that was anything other than regular, but it's an option that you have. So lastly, I'm going to show you how to create a form just like the one that we just did, but if you're not comfortable modeling that in Revit, because you might feel like it is limiting, if you, let's say, model something organic and cool in Rhino, how you can bring it in and have it be usable. So if I have a form in Rhino, so I have this here. So I'm going to click the form, click File, Export Selected, and I'm going to save it as a DWG file. Now if I click Options, I'm not going to have it as default. I want it to be solids. So when we're exporting as a CAD file from Revit, you want to make sure that it's not polylines, but that it's ACIS solids. And then vice versa, if you're importing into Revit, you want to make sure that it's solids and not polylines, because otherwise it'll be like a wireframe thing. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to my massing tool, and I'm going to say in place mass. Okay. And now you can see that the same insert tab is available. So I'm going to say insert, import CAD, and I can import my Rhino form. And I just want to make sure this is unchecked so that Revit doesn't like change the shape at all. And sure, this works. And sure, place at level 0. Okay, cool. So it's going to pop up, and then it's going to be automatically pinned. This might be selected automatically, which means you can't select it. So you just want to make sure that that is not clicked so that you are able to select pinned elements. And then you can select this if you want. You can unpin it. You can move it around if you want. Cool. And then I'm going to say finish mass. I'm going to go to mass and site. And now again, I can use the wall by face tool, and I can do that. And now I have, make these all walls. There we go. And now I can actually delete the mass, and it's gone forever, and that shape, the shape remains. Or you can just right click it and like anything else, hide and view elements, or you can click VV and turn off the massing category if you want it to disappear forever or disappear in that one view. And again, just like in the other case, you can make it a floor or a roof as well. And now that it is again scheduled as a wall and Rhino recognized it as a wall, you can add your windows and door. Windows and doors everywhere. So I hope this helps. I hope this just kind of opens your mind to what Revit is capable of. And then of course you can always Google quick things if you run into issues, or you can comment if you need troubleshooting help. But this is pretty much just to help you understand that Revit isn't limited to just straight up walls and doors or curtain walls if you want things to be kind of fancy. So yeah, hope you found this helpful. Thank you.
For the sunshine, I gotta love, and I know that it's all mine. Oh.